Not everybody likes the iron sights of certain weapons, and most COD players would probably agree that having a good optic on your weapon could totally change your opinion. But what have the best optics been throughout the entire franchise? Which optics have made the most impact on their game? Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. We just did the worst optics, and you asked for the best optics. So here it is, and I have to stop. I have to give you guys a shout out. I read the comments every single video, and you're going to see them on the screen right now. Just so much participation, so much support. You guys asking for topics you want to see. We're in 2024. I've been doing this for 14 years, and you still come back and you still support the content. I just want to say thank you. I do. So yeah, keep giving us your suggestions, and who knows, it may end up turning into a video on the channel. Today, we're going to check out what I think are the best optics in all of Call of Duty multiplayer. You let me know where you agree. You let me know where you disagree. Keep it constructive. Drop a like, and let's start off at number 10. The Microflex LED in Black Ops Cold War. Now, all of the Call of Duty games post Modern Warfare 2019 have a lot of optics. So in theory, there's a lot of variety with the attachments people are using. But the Microflex LED was extremely popular in Black Ops Cold War, and it was certainly the most popular close-range optic in the game. Great fit for any rifle, great fit for any SMG, LMG, honestly. Gave you a super clean look at your enemies, as well as a little helpful dot in the middle of the screen so you could line up your shot. Compared to other short-range sights in Black Ops Cold War, the Microflex had much less visual clutter, far better peripheral vision. Also just being super clean to look at and making your weapons feel smooth. I think it's a good way to kick off today's list because Black Ops Cold War had a lot of close-range sights to pick from, and yet almost everyone used this. At number 9, the GI Mini Reflex in Modern Warfare 2019. Much like Black Ops Cold War, Modern Warfare 2019 had a lot of optics to pick from, and some of them felt a little redundant, like they were only there to fill out the list and make the grind longer. Not the GI Mini Flex. Fantastic close-range sight. I think it was one of the best in the entire franchise. It was your classic red dot sight, but with a very small frame and outline, which gave you excellent peripheral vision while using it and didn't block up any of the action with metal. Modern Warfare had a bit more optic variety online than Black Ops Cold War did, but I give it to the GI Mini Flex, or Reflex, that is. I give it the higher spot because it was clean. Sometimes people like the optics that have some personality or do a special thing while in use, but other times, the best optics are just the ones that stay out of your way and take up as little space as possible. Before we move on, guys, do me a favor. If you enjoy my content, me as a person with my content, and you enjoy games, check out the Gaming Vault. We have launched it over there. We are having fun doing full cinematic game movies. We're going to start Let's Play soon, the best moments in gaming, new trailers, you name it, and we are also adding top 10s over there for gaming. So I would love to see you guys over there in the comment section like you are right here. The link is at the top of the description. At number 8, the red dot in Advanced Warfare. The red dot is a staple of every single Call of Duty game, and it's such a staple that Sledgehammer Games has even figured out how to bring it into World War II for both of their games set during that time period. The first red dot sight that Sledgehammer ever designed was in Advanced Warfare, and for some reason, this one was way better than usual. It was. The Advanced Warfare red dot was more like an ELO sight because it was open, it was clean, with very minimal impact on your peripheral vision when using it. The red dot sight could often get annoying when it was used if it's too bulky because it would obscure your vision at close range, and that's precisely where you're supposed to use the red dot sight. But the Advanced Warfare red dot was clean. It was as clean as you could get. At number 7, the MK23 reflector in Modern Warfare 3 2023. Speaking of sights that felt like the ELO, the reflector is one of the first optics you get for rifles and SMGs in the 2023 version of Modern Warfare 3, and as underwhelmed as I was by the game, I will admit, this optic was pretty sweet. It's a close-range optic, very little visual clutter or obstruction when aiming down the sights of a gun, which is good. There's a couple reflector sights in the game, but I think the MK23 is by far the best one. And whenever you see Twitter clips or YouTube gameplay from this game, it's almost always with one of these reflector sights. Either this one, the MK23, or I think it's a slate reflector. I'm not sure. You may hate this version of Modern Warfare 3, and you may have put it down months ago, but I think you can admit this was clean. At number 6. Iron sights in Black Ops 2. The iron sights attachment, yes, it's an attachment, was available for only one gun in Black Ops 2, but it had such a huge impact on the game that I had to give it a shout. The ballista with iron sights was a thing of beauty. It was the first time since World at War that we could actually use an iron sight sniper rifle. The clips people got with this, they were nutty. They gave a permanent impact on the way people approach COD sniping. So sure, the iron sights weren't technically an optic because they were really just the option to remove the sniper scope from the ballista, but it was an iconic part of the game. I think it deserves to be on the list today, and if you were around during the Black Ops 2 days or you're still playing it through Plutonium, I think you have my back. Now we arrive at the top 5. The Aperture sight in World at War. Such a largely forgotten sight, one of my favorites. It was available on a handful of weapons in World at War, specifically the STG, and it was a huge bonus when you could use it because Treyarch tried to stay as historically accurate as they could with the weaponry in the game, meaning a lot of the guns were clunky and slow as opposed to the fast, smooth weaponry of the Modern Warfare and Black Ops games. But the World at War weapons could sometimes feel like they were fighting back against you. That's where the Aperture sight came in handy. It was only available for, I think, 8 weapons. Some of them were SMGs, which didn't really benefit from it, but the rifles and the machine guns, whew, they were fun to use. They made it so much easier. It was clean, had great peripheral vision, made mid-range combat a lot easier and more rewarding with guns that were designed for mid-range combat. It comes to mind to me is the STG-44 and the SVT-40. Awesome sight, super underrated. I bet a lot of you forgot it even existed. At number 4, the millimeter scanner in Black Ops 2. I think this sight was a bit underrated back in those days, but I've been seeing a lot of people using it on Plutonium, which is pretty cool. The millimeter scanner, or MMS sight, was a close-range optic that would give you a super clean display and a very clear aiming reticle, but every few seconds, it sent out a radar pulse and let you briefly see enemies through walls, which can make it really good for clearing out campers or shooting through cover with an LMG. The MMS was a super unique, and it served as a middle ground sight between the red dot and the heartbeat sensor, which was a combination I didn't know we needed, but I am glad Treyarch came up with it because it was fun. Some called it OP, but I think it was pretty easy to counter, so I don't agree with you. At number 3, the ELO in Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, and Infinite Warfare. I've mentioned the ELO sight several times in this video already, but that's because it was so good. It was an instant fan favorite after being introduced in Black Ops 3. The ELO sight was the first time that we got an optic for closer range than the traditional red dot sight or reflex sight, and it quickly became one of the most popular optics in the game for rifles and SMGs. Not only was the ELO a closer zoom than the traditional reflex, it was also less obstructive because it was just a floating yellow dot without a top frame of the sight. Being able to snap onto targets that close at range without being obstructed by the frame of a red dot, that was game-changing. And if you like to play aggressively in Black Ops 3, there was a 99% chance you were running the ELO. It returned in Infinite Warfare, then again in Black Ops 4, and it never failed to be one of the most used optics in the game, if not the most used. It basically became the new blueprint for the perfect close-range COD optic, and for that, it's at number 3. At number 2, the VLK 3.0 in Warzone 1. Now, Warzone gave me some of my all-time best Call of Duty memories, and even though I kind of fell off the game after Warzone 2's update, I still remember just how dominant this thing was from day one. I do. The VLK 3.0 was a very clear 3x sight, and Call of Duty had a very small reticle, made it really easy to stay on target for long periods of time, which you were going to have to do in Warzone since the time to kill was long. But on top of that, it also had a hidden recoil buff that made it even more powerful on automatic weapons like the Kilo, the M4A1, and of course the GRA 5.56. Despite all the different weapons, optics, and possible playstyles in Warzone 1, I think it was far and away the most popular optic in the game, and it was used by 99% of the player base. Definitely one of the best optics in COD history, and I think it should be this ranked. But at number 1, the best COD optic in COD history. This is hard. I don't know if I want to do it because you're going to hate me, but I have to. The Target Finder, Black Ops 2. You may have hated going up against it, but you have to sit here and shake your head with me and admit it's one of the best, if not the best, in COD history. Mid-range optic would obscure your peripheral vision, yes, but it gave you a huge boost in visibility by painting a giant red diamond on anybody who walked in front of it, regardless of how much or how little they were actually showing on your screen. This meant not only would the target finder see through smokes, it would also paint a giant diamond on your location even if the enemy only got a quick look at your toe or the very tip top of your head. And did I mention that it also had infinite range? The target finder was a camper's best friend because it was completely busted on the LMGs. But even though none of us like to go against it, I think we can all agree it was strong. Certainly one of the best, if not the best, optic in COD history. Way too strong, and there's a reason why Treyarch never brought it back. And there you have it, my friends. Let me know where we got it right. Let me know where we got it wrong. Let me know an optic that didn't make it that should have made it. And once again, shout out to each and every one of you. I appreciate you guys.